very few games that completely blindside you. Games that catch you off guard, that defy expectations, not by trying to reinvent the wheel, but by remembering what made the wheel turn in the first place. Doom 2016 is one of these games. It's not just good. Hell, it's not even just great. It is, without question, one of the most confident, cathartic, and exhilarating video games I've ever played. And it does this by doing something that feels increasingly rare in modern video game design. It trusts you. It gives you the keys to the most finely tuned engine of chaos ever built, and then gets out of your way. The brilliance of Doom 2016 is made obvious from its opening seconds. There's no cutscene, no pop-up tutorials, no "are you sure you want to invert your y-axis" hesitation. You wake up chained in a stone sarcophagus, demons closing in, and within 10 seconds, you've smashed a skull, grabbed a shotgun, and you're walking into war. This isn't just a fresh start, it's a declaration. The game doesn't care about holding your hand. It doesn't coddle you. It expects you to keep up, and more importantly, it believes that you can. In a generation of AAA games that open with over-explained expositions, slow crawls, and lengthy tutorials, Doom flips the table. You're not here to be told a story, you're here to become a weapon. You're here to tell that story, and the game never forgets that. What truly sets Doom apart from its contemporaries is its kinetic design. You don't hide behind cover, you don't wait for your health to regenerate, you don't creep forward inch by inch. You move, constantly, aggressively, and intelligently. Doom turns combat into a symphony of movement and violence. You sprint, jump, double jump, strafe, vault, and dash through rooms designed to push your spatial awareness to its limit. And the genius of that design is that everything, from health pickups to ammo to enemy behaviors, encourages you to stay in motion. Low on ammo, low on health, need armor, it's time to perform a glory kill. Every mechanic feeds another. It's a perfectly interlocking system that rewards speed, precision, and bravery. You don't just survive by being cautious, you survive by dominating the battlefield. This isn't a power fantasy handed to you, it's one you earn, second by second and shot by shot. There's a temptation to describe Doom's combat as mindless. After all, it's violent, fast, and heavy on spectacle. But that would be missing the point entirely. The combat in Doom is calculated, it's thoughtful, it's almost tactical, but not in a way most shooters use the term. Instead of issuing commands to a squad or planning out flanks, your tactic is adaptation. You're constantly assessing enemy types, positioning, environmental hazards, and weapon effectiveness in real time. Every encounter is a puzzle made of flesh and fire, and every solved room is followed by that glorious breath, the one where the music fades, the screen calms, and you realize just how long you were holding your breath for. The best FPS games have memorable enemies, and Doom 2016 resurrects the franchise's iconic demons with terrifying style and deadly AI. From charging Hell Knights to teleporting summoners, each enemy has a purpose and unique behavior. The Mancubus rains firepower, the Baron of Hell is a towering brute, and the Revenant flies through the arenas with shoulder-mounted rockets. Each encounter is a test of your reflexes and ability to prioritize threats. On harder difficulties, the synergy between demon types creates layered challenges. A battle can quickly spiral out of control if you don't deal with the summoners quickly or mismanage your ammo. The enemy design forces you to master the game's mechanics, not just memorize the patterns. Visually, Doom is a stunning piece of work. Its tech, the id Tech 6 engine, delivers buttery, smooth performance, even in the heat of battle, with high fidelity textures, lighting effects, and incredibly stable frame rates. But beyond technical chops, it's the style that truly stands out. The UAC's cold, sterile corridors are contrasted by the organic rot of Hell's Gothic templates. Every environment is dripping with atmosphere. Hellfire, industrial grime, and demonic corruption weave together in an aesthetic that feels both oppressive and awe-inspiring. The UI is clean and not-intrusive. The HUD delivers vital information without cluttering up your screen, and it reinforces the game's tone by pulsing red when you're near death or slamming ammo counts into your face mid-fight. If there is a secret sauce to Doom's presentation, it is definitely Mick Gordon's soundtrack. This is, without exaggeration, one of the most iconic video game soundtracks ever composed. The fusion of metal, electronic pulses, and dynamic layering makes every fight feel like a brutal concert. Each riff, each drop, syncs with the chaos on screen. The music reacts to your gameplay, increasing in intensity as you chain kills. The result is a deeply immersive experience where the music just isn't background noise, it's a part of your weaponry. Gunfire sounds are punchy and distinct, enemy roars are genuinely chilling, and environmental soundscapes add to depth in every corner and every cave. Now, it may surprise some players who may have played the game before, or it'll just surprise you that Doom 2016 has fairly elaborate lore. But the genius lies in how it's presented, not as a movie, but as a choice. You can dive into codex entries and uncover the backstory of the UAC, Hell's hierarchy, and even the mythic history of the Doom Slayer. Or you can just ignore all of it and keep killing demons. The Doom Slayer is less a character and more of a force of nature. He doesn't speak, he doesn't negotiate, he punches dialogue terminals mid-sentence, and in doing so becomes one of the most compelling protagonists in modern gaming. The narrative's brilliance is not about exposition, it's about attitude. The Slayer's disdain for bureaucracy, authority, and demonic corruption is shown entirely through action. The game's few speaking characters, like Dr. Samuel Hayden, a morally ambiguous cyborg, offers just enough context to alleviate the setting without slowing the pace. Now, if Doom 2016 has a slight weakness, it's in its multiplayer offerings. The multiplayer mode, outsourced to certain affinity, feels competent but uninspired. It offers the usual suite of deathmatch and objective modes, but lacks the speed and brutality of the single-player campaign. Loadouts and progression systems dilute what makes Doom's core gameplay so compelling. Although the Snap Map level editor, it's an ambitious tool that allows players to create their own missions and modes. While powerful, it never fully caught on due to its limitations and learning curve. It's a sick bonus feature, but it's definitely not a selling point. In many ways, Doom 2016 is the anti-modern shooter. It doesn't pretend to be a movie, it doesn't beg you to follow a soap opera story, it doesn't waste your time with crafting systems, live service elements, or daily quests. It does one thing, and it does that one thing with a level of precision and style that should make most modern game directors deeply embarrassed. It is focused, it is honest, and it is unashamed of what it is. And in an industry that increasingly feels like it's allergic to fun, Doom feels like the punch in the face in the best way imaginable. I didn't mean this as a throwaway line when I said Doom 2016 is the most cathartic video game I've ever played. In a world full of noise, stress, overstimulation, and constant digital friction, this game offers something incredibly rare. Clarity. You are the Slayer, there are demons, rip and tear until it is done. There's beauty in that kind of simplicity. And there's even more in the way Doom builds complexity around that core, without ever diluting it. So if you haven't played it, or you've dismissed it because you thought it was just another shooter, I urge you, please, give this game a shot. Because once you feel that shotgun kick, once you hear that music drop, and once you land that perfectly timed glory kill, you'll realize exactly what gaming's been missing. This game isn't just a reboot, it is a masterclass. Thank you so much for watching. If this video got your heart pounding and made you want to play Doom as much as me, consider subscribing for deep dive reviews that I'm working on. And yeah, until next time, may all your games be good ones, and stay fast, stay furious, and never, ever stop ripping and tearing.
When Doom returned in 2016, it was a resurrection of biblical proportions. After years of stagnation, a legendary franchise that defined the first-person shooter was reimagined with a brutal, kinetic energy that stripped away the bloat of modern shooters and returned to the raw, unfiltered essence of what made Doom, Doom. Speed, aggression, and unrelenting carnage. Yet Doom Eternal, released in 2020, dared to go even further. It wasn't enough to be a worthy sequel. Eternal had to evolve, and it had to do so without sacrificing the primal appeal of its predecessor. The result is a masterclass in modern game design, a ballet of brutality wrapped in ornate mythical world building, fueled by a soundtrack that makes your blood sing. Where Doom 2016 flirted with reinvention, Doom Eternal commits, doubled down on mobility, aggression, and strategy to become something more than just a shooter. It becomes a philosophy. This review aims to explore every angle of that philosophy, from its redefined combat system to its sprawling lore, from the intricacies of its level design to the mythology behind the Slayer himself. Doom Eternal isn't just a game you play, it's a gauntlet you survive. Every level demands your full attention. Every demon encounter becomes a puzzle of blood and bone. And yet, despite the overwhelming chaos, it's a game of perfect control and thoughtful systems layered over ceaseless action. We'll dissect the spine of Doom Eternal. We'll dive deep into the underworlds of Mars and the hellscapes of Earth. will study its demons, its arsenal, its lore, and above all, its design. Whether you're a hardened veteran of the franchise or someone wondering what all the fuss is about, this review will make one thing clear. Doom Eternal doesn't just want to be played, it wants to be mastered. While Doom 2016 flirted with a vague mythic backdrop, Doom Eternal tears open the gates of heaven and hell to deliver an expansive, surprising narrative. It's not just about killing demons anymore, it's about understanding why you're killing them, what brought the world to this breaking point, and how the Doom Slayer himself fits into this cosmic hierarchy of gods, warriors, and betrayal. Doom Eternal opens with Earth already overrun. The demonic invasion that began in the previous game has escalated into full-scale genocide. Billions are dead, cities lie in ruins, hell priests roam free, fueling a ritual that drains the planet's life force to power a trans-dimensional realm called Urdak. This is no longer a simple invasion. It's a conversion, a feeding. Earth is dying, so another plane can live. At the center of this corruption is the Khan Maker, an angelic being who rules Urdak. She presents an interesting philosophical contrast to the Doom Slayer. Where the Slayer sees death as a means to stop suffering, the Khan Maker sees sacrifice as salvation. Her bargain with hell, using human souls to power her realm and sustain her people, echoes real-world ideas of corruption, idealism, and moral compromise. She doesn't see herself as the villain, she sees herself as pragmatic. But to the Slayer, there's no such thing as compromise with evil. This cosmic war between realms provides a broader, deeper setting for your carnage. And for the first time in franchise history, we see a clear ideological battle, not just fists and shotguns, but beliefs and choices. The most fascinating story in Doom Eternal isn't about angels or demons, it's about the Slayer himself. Once a nameless marine, he has become something more, a near divine figure, whispered of in legend. In flashbacks and codex entries, we learn of his time with the Night Sentinels of Argent D'Nur, a once great world now consumed by Hell's touch. The Slayer joined their cause after losing everything to the demonic horde. He trained, fought, and eventually became a symbol of vengeance. A one-man reckoning who even the forces of Hell feared. These details reshape our understanding of the character. The Doom Slayer isn't just angry, he's ancient, tragic, cursed to fight forever, and yet Doom Eternal never stops to offer a sympathetic cutscene or a tearful monologue. Instead, it relies on suggestion. The shattered temples where your statue still stands, the reverent way others speak of you, the solemn rituals of the Night Sentinels. You're not just a player in a game, you're a myth incarnate. What's brilliant is how the narrative never slows the game's pace. You don't sit through long cutscenes. Instead, you discover the lore hidden in codex pages, murals, and environmental storytelling. They paint a broader picture for those who want to look. The game trusts you to care. It doesn't beg for your attention. Thematically, Doom Eternal explores the cycle of power and corruption. The Makers, once divine and incorruptible, are now parasites sustained by the suffering of others. Hell, ever hungry, offers temptation in the form of energy and resurrection. Even the Night Sentinels, once noble and broken, are manipulated. The only figure who resists the cycle is the Slayer himself. Not because he's virtuous, but because he refuses to submit. His only morality is defiance. The game is steeped in biblical imagery and apocalyptic poetry. You'll fight in ruined cathedrals, across crumbling celestial citadels, and through alien crypts where ancient corpses still smoulder with demonic fire. Every location tells a story. Every enemy you face was once a part of a bigger plan, a fallen soldier in an endless war between law and chaos. By expanding the lore beyond the confines of Earth and Hell, Doom Eternal makes every encounter feel more significant. You're not just clearing rooms, you're unraveling a prophecy. One of the boldest decisions Doom Eternal makes is keeping the Doom Slayer himself silent. He doesn't speak, he doesn't monologue, and yet he says everything through his actions. He smashes control panels rather than pressing buttons. He throws monitors across the room if they waste his time. His contempt for bureaucracy, inefficiency, and cowardice is loud and clear. And it's one of the reasons I think players connect with him so strongly. Where other games over-explain their heroes, Doom Eternal lets the Slayer remain a mystery, a weapon, a force of nature. The more we learn about his past, the more mythical he becomes, and the more human his pain feels. If Doom 2016 was a return to high-speed, no-frills action, then Doom Eternal is the next evolutionary step. It's not just about shooting, it's about decision-making at 200 miles per hour. The game doesn't want you to survive, it demands you to dominate. It's a combat puzzle game disguised as an action shooter. And to win, you must understand the system, the loop, and the play, like the Slayer. At the core of Doom Eternal lies an elegant design philosophy known unofficially as the resource triangle. It governs everything, pacing, enemy encounters, even the way you think as a player. Ammo is replenished via your chainsaw, one-click slice on a weak enemy refills your reserves, but the chainsaw itself has a cooldown tied to fuel. This forces you to constantly manage ammo use and identify chainsaw fodder in battle. Health is restored through glory kills, the brutal melee finishes that trigger when enemies are staggered. These are not just flashy animations, they're vital. Every glory kill drops a chunk of health, keeping you alive in the heat of battle. Armor is gained through the flame belch. A shoulder-mounted flamethrower burning enemies drop armor when hit. The more you hit them, the more they burn, the more you get. All of this means you're not just shooting to kill, you're shooting to manage. The question isn't, what's the strongest weapon I have? It's, what do I need right now? If you're low on ammo, find a fauna demon, chainsaw them. If you're near death, glory kill a staggered enemy. Need armor? Flame belch a cluster, and unload your shotgun. Combat becomes a rhythm, one dictated by needs, not just damage. The system is genius because it forces aggression. You can't hide, you can't turtle. If you play scared, you die. The game trains you to be relentless. Every enemy is a resource, a tool, and a stepping stone. You are the apex predator, and Eternal never lets you forget it. The weapon design in Doom Eternal is another masterstroke. Each gun is distinct, powerful, and satisfying, but what makes the arsenal shine is the mod system. Every weapon has 2 mods that radically change how it functions. For example, combat shotgun has sticky bombs, lobbed times explosives for great weak points. It also has full auto, turns a shotgun into a fast spraying beast. Then you've got the heavy cannon. It has the precision bolt, a scoped high damage shot for sniping weak points, and the micro missiles, crowd control against fast moving enemies. There's also the plasma rifle, heat blast, releasing stored up energy in a radial blast. Then you have the microwave beam, that immobilizes enemies and causes explosive death. Each mod can be upgraded through use and exploration, and mastering them adds a new layer of strategy. You're not just switching guns, you're switching tools, each built for a specific problem. A flying Caro demon? Sticky bomb it. A shielded soldier? Use the plasma rifle to overload. A Baron of Hell? Combine ice bomb and flame belch and super shotgun to absolutely devastate. And then there's the super shotgun, the Slayer's iconic weapon, his Excalibur, if you will, now equipped with the meat hook, a grappling chain that lets you pull yourself to enemies. This isn't just mobility, it's control. You can use it to close distance, escape danger, reposition midair, or even burn demons mid-swing. Feels like a game within the game. Each weapon has a master challenge, a test to unlock its ultimate form. These challenges encourage deep experimentation, reinforcing the idea that Eternal rewards mastery, not just progress. In most shooters, movement is just a means to an end, but in Doom Eternal, it's the difference between life and death. The game introduces new traversal tools, double jump, dash, climbable walls, swing bars, and the meat hook. These aren't just for platforming, they redefine combat. Fights take place in vertical areas with multiple levels, escape routes, monkey bars, jump pads, and portals. Staying still is absolutely suicide. The Slayer is built to move, and movement is your shield. The dash mechanic in particular changes everything. It gives you micro mobility, the ability to dodge projectiles, weave through hordes, and reposition with surgical precision. Combine this with aerial mobility, and you're no longer running from demons. You are dancing around them. The fluidity is what makes Doom Eternal so intoxicating. You never stop. You're always moving, thinking, targeting. You become the storm. What makes combat truly strategic is how each demon has specific counters and weak points. Doom Eternal is a thinking man shooter. These aren't optional strategies, they're vital. The game is designed around problem solving. It presents you with a chessboard of threats and asks, how fast can you dismantle this? The system rewards players who learn, who adapt, who treat every fight not as a shooter, but a combat encounter. It's deeply satisfying. Late in the game, you'll acquire the Crucible, a glowing energy sword capable of killing non-boss enemies in one hit. The ultimate tool, but with limited uses. Each swing consumes a charge. It's not a crutch, it's more of a trump card. Likewise, the BFG 9000 returns, still godlike, still devastating, but used sparingly. These tools serve as pressure valves. Out of options, drop the hammer, but you learn to use them more tactically, not recklessly. Even in the most overpowered moments, Doom Eternal maintains its balance. It gives you power, then makes you earn it. Combat in Doom Eternal is modular. Each arena is handcrafted to present a distinct challenge. Some are tight, claustrophobic mazes, others sprawling vertical stages. The demons are deployed in waves, each designed to pressure different parts of your skill set. An encounter might begin with fodder demons letting you farm health, then become mid-tier threats like Arachnotrons, Pinkies, Revenants. Finally, the heavy hitters arrive, the Tyrants, the Archviles, the Barons. The order matters, the pacing matters. It creates a combat narrative, a rising arc in tension and catharsis. When you clear an arena, the silence that follows is golden. You feel not just relief, but accomplishment. You beat the system. Between battles, the game introduces platforming sections, wall climbs, time dashes, fire traps. At first they feel jarring, like why is Doom doing this? But over time they serve as rhythmic relief. You can breathe, you can think. All these segments reinforce the importance of mastery over movement. Exploration is also heavily encouraged. Secrets are everywhere. Hidden upgrades, lore entries, extra lives, cheat codes, toys. The game gives you a Fortress of Doom hub where you can unlock collectibles, weapon skins, and suit upgrades. It rewards curiosity. More than anything, Doom Eternal is a game that respects your intelligence. It asks a lot: precision, strategy, aggression, but it gives you even more. The system works in harmony. Every decision matters, every kill is earned. It's not just a power fantasy, it's about control. The player who masters the systems doesn't just win, they conquer. In Doom Eternal, demons aren't just targets, they are chess pieces, each with a distinct role behavior and counter strategy. What elevates Doom's enemy design beyond nearly any other shooter is not just the variety or grotesque artistry, but it's how each demon interacts with the systems. They aren't random bullet sponges, they're designed to stress test everything you've learnt, from your aim to your movement to your prioritization instinct. Each demon belongs to an encounter role, not a formal classification, but a pattern that becomes obvious through play. This layered approach means that with every combat encounter, it becomes dynamic. It's not just about how many demons you fight, it's about which ones, when, and where. Now let's address the elephant in the room, the Marauder. Controversial, deliberate, and bloody brilliant. They're introduced about halfway through the game. He's a former Night Sentinel corrupted by hell, a sort of mirror to the Doom Slayer. He's fast, aggressive, and immune to most attacks except during a tiny window where he lunges with glowing green eye flash. Attack too early, he blocks it. Too late, he counters. Stay too close, he blasts you with a shotgun. Stay too far, he summons a spectral wolf. Now, many players hate the Marauder, not because he's broken, but because he demands restraint. In a game that conditions you to go full throttle, the Marauder slams the brakes. He forces rhythm, patience, and precision. But that is exactly the point. He teaches timing, reaction, deliberate counterplay. The Marauder is the embodiment of Eternal's design ethos. Learn, adapt, dominate. Once mastered, he becomes exhilarating, a test, not a nuisance, as he rewards the same skills the rest of the game encourages: awareness, control, execution. A key strength to Doom Eternal is how it escalates. Early game enemies like imps become less threatening, but remain essential to the flow of battle. Mid-tier demons gain variance, or are paired with others to force new strategies. The game never throws out toys, it just remixes them. Even the weakest enemies stay relevant. You'll never stop chainsawing zombies, you'll always need imps for flame belch armor, and the game ensures that every element remains a part of that puzzle, all the way to the end. Despite the visual chaos, Doom Eternal maintains exceptional clarity. Enemies glow when staggered, weak points are obvious, projectiles are color-coded, even the most crowded areas offer visual cues: green climbables, red exploding barrels, blue portals. Nothing is wasted, and every kill feels meaty. Heads explode, limbs tear off, the audio feedback, the screen shake, the controller rumble, it all reinforces the physicality of combat. The game doesn't just make you see success, it makes you feel it. In short, Doom Eternal's enemy design is a masterclass in pressure, variety, and counterplay. No enemy exists in a vacuum. Each one is a gear in a machine meant to test you. As you master them, you stop feeling like a player, and you start feeling like the Slayer. Doom Eternal's combat is the heart, the sound is the pulse. Every shotgun blast, demon roar, and metallic clank is tuned to make you feel the violence all the way in your bones. But more than just sounding good, the audio is functional. It communicates, it reacts, and it transforms combat into a rhythm game drenched in blood. Now let's talk about one of the most iconic parts. I call it the Mick Gordon effect, the soundtrack. Composed by Mick Gordon, the music of Doom Eternal is an industrial metal onslaught built from detuned 9-string guitars, synths, mechanical bass lines, and demonic choir. This isn't background music, it's tactical aggression. Each track ramps dramatically with combat. Enter a new area, and the guitars growl. Kill a demon, and the rhythm tightens. Hit a glory kill, and the music responds. Each beat is tied to your momentum. When you're playing well, chaining kills, swapping weapons, controlling the battlefield, the music crescendos in sync. It doesn't just accompany your rampage, it elevates it. You're not just listening to a soundtrack, you're conducting it. The soundtrack isn't just music, it's combat design. It makes you feel fast, it makes you feel better. The ebb and flow of music isn't random, it's tightly scripted. The game reads your state, enemy count, player health, chain of kills, and adjusts the mix in real time. It means no two fights feel exactly the same. Even if they play similarly, the soundtrack feels alive. The sound design in Doom is equally impressive. Every demon has a distinct audio signature. You learn to hear the arrival of a revenant or the hiss of a whiplash before you see them. That matters in combat. Sound becomes your ally, your early warning system. Some examples are the Marauder's wolf growls audibly before striking. Carry demons have a bubbling, inflating gargle that warns you of proximity. Pinky's charge with a roar, giving you just enough time to dash and counter. The chainsaw revs with glorious torque, cutting through everything in its way. Even pickups like ammo and armor have distinct chimes that reinforce resource collection. Your weapons also sound perfect. The combat shotgun has a metallic clunk. The plasma rifle sizzles like it's tearing atoms. The ballista hums with contained power, and the super shotgun twin barrels feel like thunderclaps. The sounds don't just sell weight, They reinforce identity. You know what you're holding by sound alone. And then, silence. The moment the last demon dies, the music cuts. The battlefield is quiet. And all that's left is the wind, the ruined earth, and the Slayer breathing heavily. The contrast is surgical. It punctures victory. It gives you space to reflect, reload, explore. You remember how loud it was because of the silence. That's audio as rhythm, as pacing, as storytelling. From the moment you pull the trigger in Doom Eternal, the game sends a message. This is not a power fantasy, it's a skill fantasy. Yes, you are the Slayer. Yes, you can rip demons apart with your bare hands, but only if you earn it. This isn't about feeling strong by default, it's about becoming strong through mastery. Let's break down what makes Eternal's challenge curve so rewarding, why its highest difficulties feel like exams, and how the game gives you full control, even as it tries to kill you. When you first start playing, you'll die. A lot. You'll run out of ammo, back into corners, get surprised by demons spawning behind you. The game is unforgiving at first, but as you learn, you anticipate spawns. You pre-aim weak points. You rotate around arenas for optimal escape routes. You chain your cooldowns. Ice grenade, flame, grenade, glory kill. You know when to chainsaw, when to switch to weapons midair. By the end game, you're not fighting anymore. You're dancing. You're swapping weapons in milliseconds. You're leading rockets, baiting pinkies into walls, dodging revenant missiles while targeting a carrier demon with a sticky bomb mid-jump. When it all clicks, you don't feel like you're playing a shooter. You feel like you're performing. Then there's Ultra Nightmare, the final test. This is the mode that separates casual fans from committed slayers. One life, no checkpoints, finish the whole campaign, or start over. What makes it so thrilling is the game is so fair. You never die because of a cheap trick or bad RNG. You die because you messed up. You used the wrong weapon. You got greedy. You forgot a spawn point. Ultra Nightmare turns the campaign into a surgical challenge. It forces you to play every fight like a speedrunner. Know the arena, predict every enemy, optimize every tool. It's not just hard, it's disciplined. Finishing Ultra Nightmare is more than bragging rights. It's a badge that says, I understood the game completely and I mastered it. A critical reason Doom Eternal works, even at its hardest, is because it gives you complete control. It means if you die, you know why, and you know what to do differently. It's challenge with clarity, something many gamers lack. And the loadouts, customizable. Don't like the microwave beam? Swap to the lock-on rockets. Struggling with quick sniping? Switch to sticky bombs. Eternal respects your style, but demands you find a working system. In short, Doom Eternal's difficulty isn't gatekeeping, it's empowerment through knowledge. The deeper you go, the better you play. And when you come out the other side, bloodied, exhausted, victorious, you don't feel like you survived a game, you feel like you conquered a gauntlet. Doom Eternal is not subtle. It's a game that opens with earth in flames, the moon cracked in the sky, and demons feasting on skyscrapers. But beneath the hellfire and blood is something unexpected. World building. Not just metal and gore, lore and intent. This game doesn't just look great, it tells a story through architecture, scale, and atmosphere. Whereas 2016's Doom leaned heavily on Mars Red's industrialism and demonic technological fusion, Eternal broadens the scope dramatically. It's no longer just hell invades a UAC lab. It's Earth collapsing under infernal assault, titans raising from the hellish chasms, cathedrals forged from bone and chrome, sky fortresses manned by godlike warriors, and burned civilizations echoing with forgotten wars. The game spans multiple planes of reality, and every one of them looks distinct. That diversity gives the campaign an epic scale few shooters even attempt. The campaign begins on Earth, but it isn't your typical ruined city. Eternal's Earth is being digested by hell. Skyscrapers are overgrown with flesh, highways snake through mountains of bones, cities collapsed into demonic pits filled with lava and intestines. Yet, it's strikingly beautiful. The color palette blends greys and browns with vivid infernal reds and sickly greens. There's an unsettling harmony to the corruption. Every structure tells a story. The levels are vertical, sweeping, and filled with slightness that draw your eye towards some massive, grotesque monument. You're not just passing through, you're descending into annihilation. Midway through the campaign, Eternal leaves Earth behind, and it gets wild. Terras Nabad is a ruined holy city where the Slayer once led a siege against the demonic horde. Its towering gold statues, ancient colosseums, and shattered sky bridges evoke a fallen empire, one that worshipped the Doom Slayer. Walking its broken streets feels mythic. You're not fighting through a level, you're walking through legend. Nurkavola contrast is hell industrialized. It's not red fire and spikes, it's a soul factory. This is where the damned are processed like meat, Conveyor belts move corpses, giant presses crush the dead into energy. Flesh is peeled from bone with cold precision. It's more Sin City than Gothic horror, but deeply disturbing all the same. These levels function both as gameplay challenges and environmental storytelling. You understand the scale of war, the myth of the Slayer, just by looking at the walls. Perhaps the boldest visual swerve is Urdak, essentially Doom's version of heaven. But rather than fluffy clouds and halos, Urdak is a realm of pristine white platforms, liquid energy flows, and geometric perfection. It's like an Apple store built by the angels. This isn't heaven as good, it's heaven as control. Sterile, clinical, remote. The Khan Maker speaks in robotic tongues, her servants float like drones, and everything feels cold. That's the brilliance of Urdak. It's beautiful, but it's not welcoming. The inversion of the religious expectation turns the narrative on its head. You're not just killing demons, you're burning down a cosmic hierarchy. You're not the savior of humanity, you're the executioner of gods. Between these missions, you'll return to the Fortress of Doom, the Slayer's orbital stronghold. It's part castle, part space station, and 100% metal as hell. Here you'll find the Slayer's personal quarters, complete with guitars, vinyls, books, trophies, including this really cool plush Carra demon, as well as a place to check out all of your toys and weapons. Upgrade rooms for your weapons, armor, and the Sentinel batteries, an armory pulsing with demonic energy, a prison down below called the Ripatorium where you can test your weapons on caged demons for fun. The fortress does more than house upgrades. It humanizes the Slayer, just barely. Gives players a place to breathe and immerse you in his legend. It's the Batcave, but for an immortal Godslayer. Despite its maximalist design, Doom Eternal never confuses the player, and that's thanks to smart visual language. For example, green lights, they mean interactable objects, ledges, bars, switches. Then you've got your flashing lights, secrets or traversal points. Then you've got distinct silhouettes for every enemy type, color-coded damage. Blue, armor, red, health, orange, weak points. It's a testament to id Software's ability to make visually overwhelming spaces readable. Even in the most chaotic fight, you know where to go and what to do. Doom Eternal is a brutal ballet of chaos and precision wrapped in a stunningly crafted world. Beauty lies not just in high-fidelity graphics, but in the artistry of its environments, hellish blood-soaked landscapes to the awe-inspiring architecture of ancient civilizations. Each level pulses with kinetic energy, illuminated by dynamic lighting and layered with rich detail. The game's UI and animation strike a balance between sleek functionality and gritty design, even in its most violent moments. Doom Eternal maintains a visual elegance, turning carnage into spectacle. It's a masterpiece of aesthetic violence, as mesmerizing as it is relentless. Demon animations are grotesquely expressive. Gore systems layer blood and chunks across enemies dynamically. The game even tracks damage per demon. Blow off an arm, it stays off. Explosives send chunks flying. The super shotgun scorches demons into ragdolling gibs. Even glory kills are more varied and cinematic than in 2016, blending bone-crunching precision with absurd overkill. Everything is stylized beauty, but it's not just chaos. It's clarity dressed as carnage. Doom Eternal is not just gory and loud. It's artful. Its visual design builds a world where heaven, hell, and earth all reflect one thing: a war beyond salvation. It crafts mythologies and architecture. It tells stories in shadows. It shows the cost of power. In the bones of cities, the screams of angels, and the fire on your boots. You're not just playing a game. You're moving through a heavy metal painting made real. Doom Eternal isn't just a sequel. It's a declaration. A blood-soaked symphony of violence, speed, and skill, crafted with confidence of a team that knows exactly what it's doing. Every arena, every enemy, every mechanic is turned to brutal, elegant perfection. Demands more from you than most shooters dare, but it gives back even more. Thrill, empowerment, and the rare satisfaction of absolute mastery. In a landscape created with safe design and forgettable experiences, Doom Eternal stands as a monument to what video games can be when they commit unapologetically to their vision. It respects your time, your intelligence, and your desire to feel something intense every time you pick up the controller. It's not just the best first-person shooter of its generation, it's one of the best games of the generation. Period. This is id Software at its most ferocious. This is FPS at its peak. This is Doom Eternal. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I really do appreciate it. If you guys enjoyed the review, please remember to hit the like button. It really does help. And for more reviews like this, as well as other stuff we do here on the channel, be sure to subscribe. Now, if you guys excuse me, I have some Doom the Dark Ages to go play, so definitely look forward to that review. That'll be coming really soon. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, everybody. And until next time, may all your games be good ones. and I'll see you guys in the next video. By the time the credits rolled on Doom the Dark Ages, I wasn't just satisfied, I was spellbound. Somehow id Software had done it again, but this time it's not just a sequel or a spin-off, it is a blockbuster. Doom the Dark Ages doesn't just reimagine Doom in a medieval context, it redefines it. And in doing so, it delivers one of the most bold, creative, and awe-inspiring shooters of this generation. To understand what makes Doom the Dark Ages such a triumph, you first have to appreciate the risk involved. Doom Eternal already took the franchise to its logical extreme. Fluid combat, mind-bending platforming, and an arsenal that turned players into a one-man army of annihilation. So where do you go from there? How do you innovate when you've already perfected the formula? For id Software, the answer was simple. You don't just escalate, you transform. The Dark Ages isn't set in some future or some hell-torn Earth. It throws the Doom Slayer into a mythic gothic past, fusing the series' signature brutality with a setting straight out of a dark fantasy. This medieval twist could have gone wrong in 100 different ways. Too gimmicky, too slow, too lore-heavy, but it doesn't. Instead, everything about this setting feels earned. From the second you step into the ruined temples and burning castles of Argentina, it becomes clear, this isn't just a gimmick, this is an evolution. The world is filled with suffering, glory, and fire. You don armor instead of a Praetor suit, you carry a shield forged in infernal crucibles, you wield weapons straight from nightmares, and yet, you still feel like the Doom Slayer. No matter what century, no matter what tool, the spirit of Doom is always alive and roaring. Let's make one thing clear. Doom's combat isn't just shooting demons, it's about dancing with them. Every battle is a rhythm game of murder. You close gaps, prioritize threats, manage cooldowns, and stay constantly on the move. Doom Eternal mastered this loop. And now, the Dark Ages redefines it with a medieval twist that somehow doesn't slow the pacing, it enhances it. The new tools are a masterstroke. The flail is brutal, letting you cleave through fodder demons and chain combo attacks like your Kratos in his prime. The Dread Mace is a heavy yet empowering one-hit kill. It turns arena fights into brutal skirmishes that are more physical than ever before. You feel the weight of your actions in every swing, yet the game retains its speed through perfect design and movement options. Now let's talk about the Sentinel Shield. It's not just a block button, it's a tool for parrying, absorbing enemy fire, and chaining into devastating counterattacks. In the hands of a skilled player, it becomes a second weapon, an extension of the Slayer's will. It adds a new layer of defensive mastery to the combat loop, forcing players to consider the timing and spacing like never before. And of course, the iconic Super Shotgun makes its return with its Terminator-style reload, sexy new aesthetics, and its capability of wiping out whatever is in front of you. It's truly the best the gun has ever been. Then there's the BFC, the Ballistic Force Crossbow. It's a medieval twist on the iconic BFG from previous Doom games. This weapon embodies the over-the-top brutality the series is known for, now reimagined through the dark fantasy lens. It's a massive, ancient relic of destruction. The BFC unleashes a devastating energy blast capable of disintegrating hordes of demons in a single shot. Its design is a fusion of brutal medieval aesthetics and unholy tech. Where the traditional BFG was a sci-fi plasma-based, the BFC feels like it was built to be wielded by a Slayer king, ripping through armies with sheer mystical fury. The weapon likely draws on the Doomslayer's rage, in essence channeling it into a catastrophic beam or explosion that obliterates anything foolish enough to stand in its path. Every encounter in Dark Ages feels handcrafted, designed to test your ability to adapt. Yes, there's still the classic arena design and traversal puzzles, but there's also siege, field battles, and boss fights that belong in the annals of action game history. And that brings us to the monster design. The mnemonic hordes have never looked this good, or this terrifying. Doom the Dark Age trades in the techno-demons of Eternal for something darker, more primal. The Titans, gargantuan beasts of hell that usually only can be taken down with unconventional weaponry, or a dragon. Due to their immense size, they tower over the battlefield with molten axes and skin flayed by divine fire. The Acolytes, twisted by the Witch's eldritch touch. These once hallowed sentinels are key for realms beyond to bleed into the worlds they once swore to protect. They float ominously, casting spells, and corrupt the ground to summon phantoms. Each of these new enemies tests a part of your skill set. id Software has clearly studied what made Eternal's combat so dynamic and then asked, how do we evolve this without overcomplicating it? The result is a combat ecosystem where every enemy is a puzzle and every weapon is a key. Let's pause the carnage and talk about the level design, because it is where the Dark Ages makes perhaps its boldest statement. Gone are the sterile, tech-heavy arenas of past entries. Instead, we get cathedrals built atop rivers of blood, forests twisted with infernal magic, fortresses floating above bottomless voids, The art direction is staggeringly good, equal parts Dark Souls, Berserk, and of course, classic Doom. Yet, it's not all just for show. The levels are intricately interconnected, with verticality, puzzle elements, and exploration rewards baked into their design. Secrets abound, hidden crypts, lore pages, and gear upgrades. There's a meaningful incentive to explore, not just because it's rewarding, but because the world beckons you to dig deeper. This isn't just a place you fight in, it's a place you live in. And the music. Okay, Mick Gordon may not have returned, and that sucks. He is dearly missed in this game, but the new score does a serviceable job. It fuses Gregorian chants with industrial percussion, with distorted guitars that sound like they've been forged into hell itself. Every track is a battle rhythm, or battle hymn, urging you forward. But, I have to be honest, there's just something with the music that doesn't quite feel the same. What may surprise longtime fans is just how deeply Doom the Dark Ages leans into its narrative. It's not just a sideshow to the action. It's a tale of betrayal, prophecy, shattered empires, and a doomed legacy of power. Yet, crucially, it never forgets the Slayer at the heart of it all. In Doom the Dark Ages, cutscenes take on a more prominent and narrative-driven role than in any previous entry in the franchise. Where the earlier games like Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal leaned heavily on environmental storytelling and minimal dialogue, the Dark Ages embraces a grander, more cinematic approach, without sacrificing that raw intensity that defines the series. These cutscenes deepen the mythos of the Doom Slayer, flesh out the medieval hell fantasy world, and provide context for the player's carnage-filled crusade. The Doom Slayer has always been more of a symbol than a character, a mythic force of nature, not a man. But here, in the blood-stained cathedrals of the past, his origin finally comes into terrifying clarity. Without spoiling too much, the game explores the sort of first crusade against hell, the rise of the Sentinels, and the true meaning of the Slayer's pact with vengeance. It's intimate and cosmic all at once, and it hits like a warhammer. And through it all, the game never forgets that this is Doom. The narrative isn't weighed down by melodrama or exposition. It's interwoven seamlessly between action, unlocking deeper emotional payoffs when you least expect them. Yes, you still rip and tear, and now you know why the world burns. For all its brilliance in gameplay and story, Doom the Dark Ages wouldn't hold together without the technical and artistic execution that meets id Software's legacy standards. It doesn't just meet them, it obliterates them. On a sheer production level, this is one of the most stunning, seamless, and immersive games of the decade. The lighting system seems to have undergone a massive overhaul. Torchlight flickers dynamically off bronze armor, rain falls through stained glass windows in real time, hellfire distorts the air and casts long, haunting shadows. Even enemy blood splatter reflects environmental lightning now. It's not just polish, it's personality. The game's texture work, from moss-covered cathedral walls to molten rock veins beneath demonic bastions, look lovingly handcrafted. Doom the Dark Ages manages to be both grotesquely beautiful and beautifully grotesque. The art team deserves all the awards. Few games understand the power of sound like the Doom series. And while Mick Gordon's iconic industrial metal chaos defined the modern Doom identity, the Dark Ages wisely forces a new path. Composer Brian De Oliveira, best known for his Shadow over the Tomb Raider and Resident Evil work, takes the reins and crafts a soundtrack that is nothing short of thunderous sorcery. The score blends Gregorian chants, doom metal riffs, medieval instruments, and distorted electrical pulses into something completely unique. You have combat tracks, exploration tracks, and boss fight songs that erupt with infernal fanfares, layering demon growths behind industrial rhythms and string sections that have just gone mad. The sound design complements this perfectly. Weapons roar with heft, the flail clinks and thunders with bone-cracking force. Enemy screeches echo through crypts and caves, telegraphing their presence before you even see them. Every environmental sound, creaking wood, whispering winds, dripping blood, sells the illusion that the world is alive and dying. The mix is superb. No matter how chaotic the screen becomes, every sound element remains clear and intelligible. It's not just sound, it's tactical information delivered musically. Modern Doom has always been good at offering players control over how they experience the game, and the Dark Ages sort of continues this philosophy. There are dozens of accessibility options: remapping controls, full subtitle, colorblind support, enemy outline toggles, aim assist, and combat difficulty modifiers beyond the traditional ultraviolence and nightmare system. The HUD can be customized down to the smallest detail, you can toggle enemy health bars, simplify damage numbers, and rearrange inventory indicators, all of which is welcome in a game as fast and as dense as this one. Let's be honest. Doom the Dark Ages has no right to be this good. This game could have easily been a novelty. A fun but unforgettable side entry with a medieval coat of paint. It could have relied too heavily on nostalgia. It could have collapsed under the weight of its own ambition. But instead, id Software delivered something we rarely see anymore: a visionary reinvention that stays true to its soul while reshaping every surface. In an industry where so many sequels play it safe, the Dark Ages takes a leap of faith and lands with both feet, sword drawn, and fire in its eyes. It's not just a shooter, it's not just a Doom game. In a time where Game ratings are often diluted by marketing pressure, inflated scores, or content bloat. It's important to clarify what a 10 out of 10 actually means. It doesn't mean perfect. It doesn't mean flawless. It means essential. It means transformative. It means there is nothing else like this. And Doom: The Dark Ages earns that title violently and victoriously. It has combat that evolves without compromise, a world worth fearing and exploring, music and audio that transcend genres, a protagonist with soul, even though he barely says a word, respect for the past. Doom: The Dark Ages belongs in the pantheon of the greatest single-player first-person shooters ever made, alongside Half-Life 2, BioShock, Titanfall 2, and Doom Eternal. It reminds us that fast-paced, deeply skillful shooters can still exist in a world bloated with open-world checklist games and live service mediocrity. This is a laser-focused, brutally passionate work of art. It doesn't beg for your time, it demands your best and gives you something divine in return. Doom: The Dark Ages isn't just one of the best Doom games ever made. It's one of the best games ever made. Period. Well, that's it. We've come to the end of my review of the Doom, the Slayer Trilogy. We're probably going to be going back to the Assassin's Creed games very soon, but is there a game series out there that you would like me to tackle, that you would like me to review? Please be sure to let me know down in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. I really do appreciate it. If you are enjoying Doom: The Dark Ages as much as me, be sure to let me know down in the comments below. I've really, really enjoyed this game, and I really want to talk to people about it. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, everybody. And until next time, I hope you guys be good ones, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, everyone.